and one of their hotel brands is the Hotel Monaco, who's recognized that business travelers like me, road warriors who are on the road every single week, the typical Sheraton, Hilton, Hyatt, Marriott, DoubleTree all sort of run together after a while. They all sort of feel alike, look alike, sound alike. Good, but nothing special. So the Hotel Monaco decided, let's take it up to a different level. Let's elevate our game. So here's some examples. Turn down service at most hotels. What do you have on the pillow? A chocolate. How boring is that? You're not shocked, you're not playing. I bet you don't tweet about it. Hotel Monaco, you don't ever know what you're going to have on that pillow. I've gotten a flower, a foreign coin, a lottery ticket, a yo-yo, a kazoo, a bag of popcorn. You can't wait to get back to turn down, see what's going to be on your pillow. How about this one? You open up the closet door, and hanging in the closet is a bathrobe. And what color is that bathrobe? How boring can you get? Not at the Hotel Monaco. It's leopard or zebra print. Hot dang. And most hotels, mid-price hotels, look like that. Most Hotel Monacos seem to have a relationship with a florist. But here's my favorite. Most hotels have a policy that says no pets allowed. Not at the Hotel Monaco. You show up to the front desk and they say, did you bring a pet? No. Would you like a pet? Wow. What'd you have in mind? We can arrange to have a goldfish put in your room. Housekeeper will take care of it. All we ask is that you give it a name. So I named mine Trixie. There's the picture. I took Trixie's picture with her nameplate. So the next time you check in to the Hotel Monaco and give them your driver's license and your credit card, the front desk person leans over and said, you want Trixie to come up and spend the night with you again? Now, think about how fun that would be. Think about how fun that would be. That's what I'm saying is, what do I do to take your breath away? And you say, how do they know it's Trixie? They're guppies. They all look alike. The point is, they think about, what can I do? Sensory. You know, when I think about your store, what would sonography, that is the whole concept of every sense working together. The congruence of everything. What I see, smell, taste. What does your store smell like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? You know, when I call your store, what do I hear in the background? You know, when I walk into your store, what sensory experiences am I getting? What does it look like? What does it feel like? We need to think about the experience we're creating, not just from a standpoint of the interpersonal connection, which is critical, but there are all the other things that go with it. Are we creating a kind of congruent? We are passionate. Well, is everything in the picture passionate? Everything in your experience passionate? You know, we are absolutely inspired. Is everything in the picture inspired? Look for ways to say, what can I do to create this different experience?
On that. Easy means flow. Easy means how do I manage it in such a way that my customer has an easy route to the solution, the outcome they want. How do I make that easy? It's not about simple. We can handle complex. It's about, does it make sense? Does it make sense? You know, Ted Levitt says nobody ever bought a quarter-inch drill bit because that's what they really wanted. Nobody's ever said, I've always wanted a quarter-inch drill bit. As soon as I buy one, I'm going to frame it and hang it on the wall in my living room. What do they really want? Quarter-inch hole. And what they really like to do is go, shoo, get that hole. But they don't get to do it that way, except on Star Trek. You know, Captain Kirk could do that. The rest of us got to get in the truck, go down to the hardware store, find the drill bit section, deal with the clerk, deal with the cash register, come home, find the drill, find the chuck, just to get a hole. It's a hole your customers want, and they just soon skip your process. Do you ever have customers just call you up and ask for the process? No, I don't really need anything. Just came by to see maybe you had some forms I could fill out. No, I don't really need anything. I just called up to see maybe you could put me on hold. Customers want to skip your process. You know what they want is an easy flow to the getting their outcome, and they want those that make sense. We're fine with some sort of steps we have to go through if they make sense to the customer. Let me give you an example of doesn't make any sense. I stopped at a fast food restaurant not far from where I live. We'll call it Burger Queen, but you know who I'm talking about. And I got in the drive-in. I went up to a little speaker thing. I told the individual I'd like a double Whopper, an order of fries, and a small Coke. He read the order back. I said, yeah, that's correct. However, I said, instead of getting ketchup with my French fries, I'd like some of that barbecue sauce. He said, no. The barbecue sauce comes with the chicken tenders. I said, that's okay. I'll be glad to buy some of that barbecue sauce. He said, no. The barbecue sauce is free. I said, terrific. I'll have some of my French fries. He said, no. The barbecue sauce comes with the chicken tenders. I said, aren't you the restaurant that promises have it your way? He said, that only applies to hamburgers. Tilt? See, that doesn't make any sense. So what I'm saying is we've got to say, does it make sense to the customer? What we rail about is it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And it leaves us anxious. You know, we speak so much about the physical comfort, we miss sometimes the emotional comfort. We got to make it emotionally comfortable. This is Amy, who's on my team, and she went to Hawaii with her two teenage boys and her husband this past summer. Teenage boys get bored in 20 minutes, and they all were ready to go hang gliding. Parasailing. How many of you been parasailing? Now, if you've ever been parasailing, you know you could be drunk and you'd be fine. You could be totally unconscious and you'd be fine. It's not like hang gliding or skydiving. They just harness you up. Somebody hits that engine and a boat, and you go up in there, and you got a pretty view. Nothing could be more effortless than parasailing. But if you take a look at Amy's face, you sort of get an idea. It might be effortless, but it's not without angst. We got to find a way to say, I want to make sure it's angst-free.
To say, how can I include my customers? How can I include them in ways that are unique? You know, Betty Crocker had a wonderful start with Bisquick. Bisquick was simple. You just add water. And it was a huge success for Betty Crocker. But given that success, she said, maybe we could now go into cakes. So they came out with their first white cake, same principle, just add water, and it was failing miserably. Because the homemaker had a little different pride of creation in making cakes than making biscuits or pancakes. And so they said, what are we going to do? We're losing money here big time. And somebody finally came up with the brilliant idea, why don't we take the powdered egg out of the mix and let the homemaker add a real egg? And the product took off and as a huge success, and obviously with other cake mixes that followed. What I'm saying is we need to find ways to say, what can I do to get my customers involved? What's in a unique way? You know, some time ago, my wife and I were in San Antonio. She was there for a family law clinic. She's a family law attorney, and I was there to drink whiskey and eat barbecue. And we stayed in the courtyard. And the second day we were there, she was off at her meeting, and I came down from the front desk for something. I don't remember what. And I saw the most amazing thing. I watched the general manager put a flip chart in the lobby that had the following handwritten sign on it. It said, "Dear guests, the aunt of one of our housekeepers has passed away, and today is the funeral. This was an important person in this housekeeper's life. We thought it important that we all attend the funeral. Consequently, between the hours of 1 and 2:30, there will be only one employee on the property. We ask your patience in serving yourself. Thank you, the management." What I saw after that was truly incredible. I watched guest serve guest. I saw a guest in the coffee shop serving another guest coffee. I saw one guest say, why don't I be the greeter like Walmart when people come in? People were having a blast. Even the next day as we're checking out, people still talking about how fun it was when we ran the hotel. Sometimes the most wonderful words your customers can hear you say are the words, I need your help. People will care if they share. Find a way to get your customers included. Sure, there are times in which it's inappropriate. Courtyard didn't put a guest behind the cash register. And clearly there are times customers don't want to be included. You go in for open heart surgery, probably inclusion's not on your list. But if we make it easy for the customer to feel like they're truly a partner, we gain their admiration and loyalty.
But so what does it take on the part of leaders? I think it takes leaders who champion. This is Steve Sharple. And Steve was the general manager of the Marriott in New Orleans. I worked a lot with Marriott over the years, and I worked with Steve. One of the early times I was there working with Steve, I got there late, and I got out of the taxi. The young man, the bellman, stepped off the curb, and he walked right up to me, and he said, "I'm Mel Washington, and I'll be your bellman from right here all the way to your room." Now, the one thing that impressed me is I've never had a bellman introduce himself. Second, he cleared up something I'm frequently confused about. I never know what to tip the person who gets you stuff from the taxi to the front desk. I got front desk to the room. He said, "I'll be your bellman all the way to your room." He said, "You go ahead and check in. I'm going to step over to the concierge stand, pick up a few items I think you might enjoy reading about New Orleans." We're going up to the room. He said, "Now, how long has it been since you've been here before?" I said, "Well, it's been a little while." He said, "Well, let me tell you some things might have changed since you were here." Of course, he gets to the room, he makes sure all my luggage is taken care of. He gets ice in the ice bucket, and then he says, "Come here, come here, come here." He walks over and opens the drapes. He said, "You see that building over there?" He said, "That's the St. James Cathedral." He said, "You see the one over there?" He said, "That's the edge of Jackson Square." He said, "In the morning, when you get up and you look out across the French Quarter, you'll know what you're looking at." And the last thing he did, he said, "Here's my business card. It's got my home phone on the back. You call me 24 hours a day. We'll make sure you get your needs met." I said, "Mel, you're very impressive," as I handed him that big tip. Well, the next morning I met with Steve Sharple, and I told him how impressed I was with Mel. And I said the thing that really impressed me the most is he gave me his business card and told me to call him 24 hours a day. Steve got a funny look on his face. He said, "Our bellmen don't have business cards." I said, "Oops." Well, Mel figured out a way to get one. A week later, I got a call from Steve. He said, "I got to tell you about Mel. Mel is now in charge of the bell stand, and by the way, they all have business cards." See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of champion we have. And that's what Lisa Privet didn't get. And that's what the guy in the story about the milkshake moment didn't get. We've got to be willing to be our champion of our employees.